Good morning, it's Tuesday the 17th of January 2012. A warm welcome along to you. This is Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom talk. The voice is still rather deep. I'm actually quite liking it. My best friend Ron says that I'm going through the second puberty, apparently. Which is the male menopause. Apparently that's what he says I'm going through, because of course I am just about to enter middle age, boys and girls. Okay, I am just about to enter middle age, depending on what you consider middle age. So there we are. Apparently that's why my voice has deepened like this. Got a little bit of a cough, maybe pops a little infection in. I don't think it's too bad though. It's very frightening. I did see a story somewhere about chest infections. I don't know what I did with that. What did I do with that? I can't remember. What was I going to tell you about that today? Oh, I can't remember anyway. But I did come across this story, which is very if you've got a wee fit, you want to be very careful when you stand on that little white platform thing that you're supposed to stand on. This was in Monday's Daily Mail. And it's got a nice ending. Before anyone thinks I'm taking the piss out of fat people, think again, okay? Because I'm not, right? A mother who was too fat for the Nintendo Wii can now play with her children again after losing an incredible 9 stone. We need to meet this lady. How do you lose all that weight? Mind you, I mean, I don't help myself really. Sunday night, I came in from doing the quiz and I sat down and I'm sorry, I opened a box of Cadbury's chocolate fingers. They weren't actually just Cadbury's chocolate fingers. They were a special edition Cadbury's double chocolate fingers. And you know, as the thing goes, you can't open a packet and have one or two. It actually says on there, each four Cadbury's fingers contains about 100 calories. And you don't think that's too much, do you? You really don't. You know, you have 4 fingers, 100 calories. That's, I mean, that's negligible, isn't it? See, the problem occurs when, if you're like me, you eat the entire bloody box. Do you know what I mean? It is just impossible. It's like packets of crisps. Once you've started, you have to finish these things. I just have no self-control, and I'm afraid Sunday night I had an entire packet. And I worked out that that was about 600 calories. I mean, I don't suppose it would be so bad if you actually replaced a meal with a box of those. I mean, is that acceptable? You know, because, you know, assuming your main meal is going to be about 900 calories, isn't it? You know, your main meal of the day. So if you just replace that with that box, and I know some of you youngsters do that, some of the teenagers who watch this show probably would love to do that, wouldn't you? Replace a whole meal with a box of Cadbury's chocolate fingers or Cadbury's double chocolate. 600 calories I had, so I don't help myself. Anyway, back onto this. As I say, if you've got a wee fit, be worried, okay? The lady, Mrs. Rose, was horrified to be told by the Nintendo Wii that she was too heavy for the board. This gets better. When she went to play the game, including bowling and skiing on the console with her young daughter one Christmas, okay? Weighing in at 22 stone, 6 pounds, the machine told her it could not cope, and her computerised character, I think there's a name for that, isn't it? The Wii Fit character actually exploded on the screen. I'm sorry. You see, I do know that the Wii Fit character, I actually bought a Wii a couple of years ago and I never used the blooming thing. Just a complete waste of money. I've got to take a decision here to never ever buy another games machine. I've bought several of them and I just don't use. They get used once and then they go in the box and they never get used again. Now, it's a blooming waste of money in my case. I must not buy these games machines. But can you just imagine how she must have felt to switch this game machine on and stand on the board only to have her character explode on the screen. Someone who wrote that programme has got an evil, wicked sense of humour. I mean, I don't usually like that sort of thing, you know, laughing at people's problems like that, you know, but I mean, that must be horrific. You know, there's a few people out there that I think would like to see me explode for in one of the shows here. I think they would. Anyway, this lady, she battled the bulge. It was the wake-up call when this happened. I actually had a wake-up call to this last year. I'll tell you about it in a second. And she managed to lose just under 9 stone in 2 years. I mean, well done. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Good on her. Before she lost the weight, her breakfast would be 4 slices of toast with butter and jam. Morning snack, biscuits and crisps. Lunch, a cheese sandwich with a packet of crisps and chocolate bar. Afternoon snack, a piece of cake. Dinner, full-fat curry with chips, rice, naan bread and onion. What are they? Bee jars? Bar jars? What the hell are they? I bet you know what that is, don't you? I ain't got a clue what that is. It's some sort of foreign... And I'm not keen on the foreign food. I've got an idea what naan bread. Onion barges. Is it barges? Oh, that's it. Onion barges. But since she lost the weight, her breakfast is now bran flakes with banana and raisins. This is a very similar breakfast to what I have. Morning snack. Well, I don't have one of those. She has a piece of fruit. Lunch, Rivita with low-fat cheese spread and low-fat cheese spread and salad. Oh, that's vile, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Have you had one of those Rivitas before? It's like it might as well be chopping up bits of cardboard. You know, get a bit of cardboard, put some low-fat cheese on it, which is probably tasteless, is it? That low-fat cheese. Someone actually bought me in a nice large bar of cheese. What do you call them? A bar pack? Slab? A smallish slab of cheese into one of the places I work, West 5 in Ealing every Friday night, so I do some DJing in there. And I was having this conversation with one of the customers about cheese and what have you. And I said, I can't see the point of people eating mild cheese. What is the point of that? You know, it's got to be strong. I know some of the cheeses, they've got numbers. You need a number 5 or a number 6. Very strong cheese. And he bought me in this packet of cheese, which absolutely, I just had some before I come to do the show today. Really, really nice. Really nice. Anyway, she goes on, afternoon snack, low-fat yoghurt and a Weight Watchers bar. I don't really have an afternoon snack. I suppose I do sometimes, which usually consists of a couple of cakes, you know, little not big, just little cakes. And dinner, healthy curry with rice and a finger of naan bread and salad. You see, now I have a similar... I gotta say, my day of eating isn't that different from that, I don't think. I probably have a lot more lunch than her, but a smaller dinner. But I don't know, I mean, my weight started increasing again recently. I'm not quite sure why that is. I have had the odd cake, and as I say, on Sunday night, I had that packet of lovely chocolate biscuits. Thank you very much. But apart from that, you know, I do have to have pills every day, and I think that might be something to do with it as well. I'll have to ask the doctor next time I go in. I think March is my next visit. Oh, have you gone all blurry? March is my next visit to the doctor. And that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, good luck to her for losing all that weight. It takes some doing to lose a lot of weight. I mean, it really does. Perish the thought of ever having to stand on one of those games consoles only to have my on-screen character explode. Wonderful story, that. Wonderful story, and good luck to her. Hello to Doug Neptune, who writes, you were talking about a sci-fi film the other day, where it was like filmed on looked like it was filmed on a home video camera. It was all shaking like that. The film was, in fact, called Cloverfield. Yes, Doug, definitely, that was absolutely the film. One of the worst films I've ever seen. I have to say, and I went to the cinema to see that as well. Very disappointed. Cloverfield. It had great reviews. Great reviews, but that style of actually filming it done my blooming brain in. It really did, all that shaking camera all the time. Similar to the DVD that I mentioned yesterday. Was it yesterday or Sunday I mentioned it? I can't remember. Called Apollo 18. Have I got the cover here? Yes, it is. 1 minute. Apollo 18. Yep, there it is. Apollo 18. Bought this DVD, £12 from HMV at the Waking. Load of rubbish. Okay, don't bother with that one. Apollo 18, not good. okay? And another film that keeps shaking around like that gets on my bloody nerves. Alrighty. Let's have a look here. Hello to young James. Hello, James, who says, I keep on meaning to say I like the United Kingdom Talk logo, especially the one at the end, and the effects are very good. And you say you have more. I can't wait to see them. Well, you should have already seen them. At the beginning of the show and at the end of the show, another 2 logos. I'm getting a few of these different logos in, and we're going to start chopping them, changing them around a little bit, okay? It'd be quite nice to have some different things going on there at the beginning and at the end of the show. All right, James? He says, hope you had a good weekend. I can't wait for the next instalment of your show. Well, I do as many as I can, okay? I've for some reason, I've really got into this again. You kind of go through periods sometimes, you know, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I mean, you do. I absolutely do. Yes, for some reason I've really picked up on this again. I don't know why. So, but I think it's because the show's become longer, really. We can get more involved. When there were 10 minutes, when we were doing 10 minutes, I mean, I don't know, I just didn't seem to be able to get into it. It was easier, but I wasn't getting into it properly. James also says, on the subject of Friday the 13th, he says, it struck for me and a friend saw someone collapse with a bad chest infection. Here it is. I told you there was something about chest infections. It's this email. Yeah, chest infections, very, very frightening sometimes, especially if you're having trouble. And I had a couple last year, which were a bit like that, and you go to bed and you can hear like bubbling noises in your chest, and it's not funny at all, chest infections. James says, I think he is okay. He went off to hospital, and then on the way home I saw 3 cars crash into each other. Luckily there was only minor injuries. I wonder what else will happen, and can't wait for Friday the 13th to be over, which of course it is now. He says, do you still do your karaoke nights and any disco nights, and a website to find these? And do you do a few spots around London? From James. Yes, James, I do. I do 2 karaoke nights, both in the same place at the moment. They are in Belushi's in Borough High Street, which is very, very close to London Bridge, okay? Belushi's, Borough High Street, very close to London Bridge. On Thursdays, I do 2 things on Thursday. I do rock and roll bingo, which is like bingo, except you have music instead of numbers. And I DJ at a place called The Two Brewers in Clapham High Street. Okay, that's a gay club, but all are welcome. On Fridays, I do DJing, and I work the sound and lights for some cabaret at a place in Ealing called West 5. Okay, that's in Ealing. Again, that's another gay club. Saturdays, I'm mobile, so I'm all over the place at the moment. Actually, this Saturday, I've got a one-off in a place in Reading called the G Bar. Okay, that's in Reading. I'll be there between 10 and 3 a.m. I think that's Saturday night this week. And every Sunday night, I do a quiz night. And the quiz night is at Belushi's in Hammersmith, 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. And we had a very good night this week, as I mentioned yesterday. We had, I think, 8 teams playing. More than three quarters of the pub were playing, and someone won £50 to spend behind the bar, which is all rather nice. James says, I will see the film about Margaret Thatcher. I've heard mixed reviews, but I think I will go just out of curiosity. As for the prices at cinemas, they were cheap at the old single-screen cinemas. But as for prices being expensive today at cinemas, you have Dolby surround sound and 3D and 3D IMAX, and all these new formats must cost the cinemas a lot of money. I heard cinemas are barely making money on tickets and are trying to make a big profit on food and drinks and games machines, I heard also. Well, they certainly do make an awful lot of profit on food for those of you that want to buy it. You know what I mean? I do my best not to buy any of those extremely overpriced sweets and things in supermarkets. I mean, they are some of those sweets are more than twice the price. I saw packets of Maltesers, you know, the bags, on sale for, I think, £2.40. I think it was about £2.40 at the Odeon in Bracknell, and you can get them for just over £1, about £1.20, about half the price in Sainsbury's at the moment. So they make an awful lot on that food. Don't buy it, okay? If you're going to a cinema, get your sandwich. Even if you don't make the sandwiches yourself, get them on the way there, I don't know, from a petrol garage or Sainsbury's or Tesco local or something like that, or a couple of packets of sweets in your pocket, can of drink or whatever, or if you're wearing an overcoat, you're taking a flask of tea. I've taken in a flask of tea before. Put it in your inside pocket. You don't get searched. Who's going to search you on the way in the cinema? You know, it's highly unlikely you're trying to smuggle arms or drugs into a cinema, is it? You know, take your own food in, don't buy it, because it's such a rip-off. He says, you've been very morbid recently with killing traffic wardens, etc., and regrets on your deathbed. I hope everything is okay. Oh, James, I'm not trying to tell you something, honestly. I'm really not. No, everything is fine. He says, and as for regrets, people are going to have loads throughout their life. That is normal. But I guess it's what you do about it that's the main thing. It's not always too late to make changes. With some things, it's not meant to be. And that is sad from James. Yes, there's certain things, you know, that are definitely not meant to be. And indeed, on that subject, I was asking you in a previous show, what do you think will be your 5 biggest regrets on your deathbed? We've had one answer as well last week from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Your crisps. Your crisps are probably on their way at the moment on an aeroplane or something like that. You and Millie as well. Millie in Minnesota. I have sent your crisps, my darling. Your Walker's cheese and onion crisps are on their way to you. Millie writes, you asked us to tell you what you think our 5 biggest regrets will be when we are on our deathbed. Here is my list. Number 1, not in any necessarily any order, never having a chance to be a mother and raise a child of my own. This one hurts even now sometimes. Millie, of course, a woman, okay? Number 2, I also regret that my cousins on my mother's side of the family have taught their children that my wheelchair was something to fear. So I was never able to develop a close relationship with them. Yes, Millie is indeed in a wheelchair, has always been so, right? But she doesn't let that stop her do anything. She really doesn't. She was here on holiday a couple of years. Was it a couple of years? Is it 2 years ago now, Millie, since you were last, you were here on holiday in a beautiful hotel. I'm just trying, in Holborn. I can't think of the name of the hotel. Oh, what? The Marriott. That was it, the Marriott Hotel. Well, beautiful hotel she was in. Number 3, she regrets the suicide of her former partner, Laura, 3 years ago this May. I didn't know she was hurting because we had split up by then. Then, if I had, perhaps I could have helped her before she made the decision to take that last step. Number 4, not having the chance to know my maternal grandfather as he died when I was just a baby. Yes, mine too, actually. Mine too. I don't know. I never recall ever having seen my grandfathers on either side. Yeah, they died quite young as well. And of course, you know, I think one of them died. I think one of them died of TB. You know, I mean, so many things people died of way back in the 50s and 60s that now we don't die of. Isn't medical science fantastic? It really is. And number 5, not getting to see either of my nans one more time before they died. I miss them both every day. So thank you for that, Millie. Wonderful there. We all miss our parents. Certainly I do miss my mum and dad a lot. And my nans. And, you know, as time goes on, I suppose you do. I mean, more and more people disappear. But not from the same things as they used to in the past, of course. You know, they can do marvellous things now. They can't, of course, cure everything, as you well know, Millie. But they can cure so much more. People do live longer. I am indeed here. Okay, I have had a couple of brushes myself. I am indeed here because of the advances of medical science in the last, especially in the last 10 years. That's the only reason I'm still here. You know, I should have gone a couple of years ago. That's the truth. Alrighty. Now, I asked you to write in about your 5 regrets that you think you'll have on your deathbed, because maybe you can do something about them now. If you think you're going to regret that, Why not do something now? In one of the newspapers last week is actually an Arise India forum. I picked this up off. And a nurse writes, for many years, I worked in palliative care. That is when someone is going to die, okay? They can't cure you, so they make you as comfortable as possible. My pair of patients were those who had gone home to die. Some incredibly special times were shared. I was with them for the last 3 to 12 weeks of their lives. People grow a lot when they are faced with their own mortality. I learn never to underestimate someone's capacity for growth. Some changes were phenomenal. Each experienced a variety of emotions as expected: denial, fear, anger, remorse, more denial, and eventually acceptance. Every single patient found their peace before they departed, though. Every single one of them. When questioned about their regrets they had or anything they would do differently, common themes surfaced again and again, and here are the most common 5. Right at the very top of the list was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life that others expected of me. This was the most common regret of all, when people realise that it's their life is almost over and look back clearly on it. It's easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Most people had not honoured even half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to choices they had made or not made. And she goes on saying, it is very important to try and honour at least some of your dreams along the way. From the moment that you lose your health, it is too late. Health brings a freedom very few realise until they no longer have it. It may be, well, some of you now who think exactly that now, perhaps you can't run up the stairs 2 at a time anymore. The second thing people regretted was, I wish I didn't work so hard. This came from every single male patient that I nursed. They missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. Women also spoke of this regret, but as most were from an older generation, many of the female patients had not been breadwinners. All of the men I nursed deeply regretted spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of a work existence. And I have to say, I do work most of the time, but on the other hand, that's what I like. You know, I'm not one to sit at home watching a telly and doing nothing. I like to be out there working. She says, by simplifying your lifestyle and making conscious choices along the way, it is possible to not need the income that you think you do. And by creating more spaces in your life, you become happier and more open to new opportunities, ones more suited to your new lifestyle. 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses relating to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result. Again, early on in my life, I was very, shall we say, go along with it. You know, someone suggested, okay, I'll go along with it. And round about 21, actually just after I'd got married, there was a change, and I decided, no, I don't want this, or this is not right, and I did something about it. You know? And I have done that. There was a particular job I was doing. As well. And I got fed up with it about about 4 years ago, and I made it known to my friends I've had enough of this job, and my friends would say it was a well-paid job. It was a very well-paid job. And my friends would say to me, oh no, you know, just do the job, it's easy money. And it was. I mean, it really was easy money, and it was good money as well. And I carried on this job for another 4 years. And there were times where I was climbing the walls on this particular night. And eventually an opportunity came to jump it without me having to say, I'm leaving, okay? An opportunity came along to jump, and I took it straight away, quickly, and I wish I'd done that 4 years ago. I was so fed up in this particular job. And the funny thing is, it is at a place where I already do, I do another night, and the other night, I loved. It was this particular night, and the problem was, it had become so monotonous. It was the same thing, week in, week out. And I could almost tell you what was going to happen minute for minute as the night went on. And it was a long night as well. And I wish I'd left that so much earlier. However, I've left it now, and I'm a lot happier on this particular night doing something else. She goes on to say, we cannot control the reactions of others. How long have we done? Oh, Christ almighty. We have gone a long time today. We cannot control the reactions of others. However, although people may initially react when you change the way you are speaking honestly, in the end, it raises the relationship to a whole new and healthier level. Yes, it does. And that goes for the guy who employs me, who employed me on that particular night. My relationship with that person has gone back almost to what it was 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm really pleased about that, because I was always great friends with this person, and the job was pulling me down. And he didn't know this. I don't think he knew it, but it was this particular job that was doing me in, and that's better now. She says, either that or it releases the unhealthy relationship from your life. Either way, you win. And absolutely, I definitely won, and I did the right thing there with that, leaving that night. Number 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. Now, I am a great one for trying to stay in touch with friends, but do you know what? It's bloody difficult sometimes. It really is. You know, what do you do when people just don't return calls or messages or Facebooks? I mean, what do you do? You can only go for so long, can't you? And over a period of years, I actually stopped ringing people who I'd rung for years and years and years, and never once did they ever ring me. And gradually, I've cut those off now. I haven't cut them off. You know, I would talk to them, don't get me wrong, but I've stopped ringing. And guess what? They don't ring. They don't ring. And it's just such a shame how you can lose touch with friends when you're doing all the work all the time. Eventually, you just give up. There's even some people now, you know, I'm always ringing them, and they never ring back. They never ring back, and that just hurts. She goes on to say, often they would not truly realise the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they had let their golden friendships slip by over the years. There were so many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. And finally, 5. I wish that I had let myself be happier. Now, this is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realise until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in the same old patterns and habits. Hands up for me there. I think I'm guilty of that. I really do. I don't allow myself to be happy. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I'm happy sitting here talking to you, but sometimes I search for, I cannot find happiness. What about you? Do you find happiness much when you're on your own? I'm at my happiest, I think, when I'm working, when I'm doing a quiz night or a karaoke or a bingo or a DJ, and that's when I seem to be happiest. And I'm also stuck in my old patterns and ways. I really am. You've only got to talk to my best mate about that. I don't like change. And I don't like to come away from my home. I'm not always keen on going on holiday and all the turmoil that it involves in getting on a plane and going somewhere. I can't stand it. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. I actually have quite a lot of silliness, and I laugh out loud watching the television on my own. I am quite silly at home on my own. I did think about sort of attaching a video camera to a wall one day and just letting it run and letting you watch it, but I think you'd lock me up probably. I probably would be locked up by the men in the white coats. Okay? Making strange noises and singing to myself, talking, having in-depth conversations with the cat. Do you do any of this? When you're on your deathbed, what others think of you is a long way from your mind. How wonderful to be able to let go and smile again long before you are dying. Life is a choice. It's your life. Choose consciously, choose wisely, choose honestly, and choose happiness. What a wonderful story that is, and that was written by a nurse who looks after people who just have a few weeks or even days left to live. That's it from the show today. Thanks very, very much for joining me as always, gang. My email address, if you want to join in at any time, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.